This episode goes out to all the musos out there, all the musicians and songwriters, performers struggling to get your message out there, especially the ones telling truth and sharing powerful, resonating stories. With Natural AF, I'm your host, Isaac.
And I'm Alexa.
And we're talking, of course, about our lovely friend and talented singer-songwriter, Jessica Jasmine, whose mother has been on this show a couple times.
Yes. So our dear friend Dottie, Jess is the daughter of Dottie, and they are two incredible souls. They are just so beautiful, really doing God's work here on earth in so many different ways. And for those, our regular listeners, you'll know Dottie well, I'm sure. And if not, definitely go back and listen to her episodes. We've had her on a couple of times. So the first episode was 32, first time we interviewed her, and then we had her on with Nick Patterson on episode 47. And Nick is also affiliated with the Living Free movement. We talk a lot about the Living Free community and the festival that just passed. And yeah, it's just such an honor to be involved with such incredible people like Jess and Dottie and the wider Living Free community. And yeah, Jess just is, so incredible for her age and what she's doing. And I'm super excited to see where she goes, where she takes this music career of hers.
And to quote a good friend of ours, every movement needs a soundtrack. And if Jess is the one singing it, it's going to be quite the soundtrack. And you'll get to hear a little bit of her music. And there's a nice little surprise at the end, a little sneak peek on something she's working on. So stick around for that.
Yeah, and we play Jess's song Rolling Back the Curtains. If you're just listening, you'll get to hear it. Definitely, if you want to see the music video, jump on either YouTube or Rumble. Spotify, we also have the video episodes up. And yeah, you can actually see the music video. It's so beautiful, so touching. And yeah, we love music like this. It has a message, and
there's a story behind it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the story behind just the music video. But yeah, Jess will tell the story, and you'll really get to know her. And that's what I love about Jess. Like, honestly, if you don't know her and you see this interview, like, you know who she is. Like, who she is who she is. She wears a heart on her sleeve, and she's just so incredible. Such an honor to have her on.
Yeah, this is the time. It's challenging, but it's really, really important now to build, to grow, to put your vision out and speak it into the world and create something that's going to change the lives of others. And that's what Natural AF is about. It's not about just us and our vision and our voice, but actually giving a platform and helping grow other people's visions into reality.
Yeah. It's very hard for independent artists to make a name for themselves and get their music out there. So it's us that really help them. So it's so important to support these artists in any way you can, whether you're streaming them or you're, some artists you can pay for their music in one way or another, and, book them for gigs, like whatever it is. It's so important that we really do support these artists that we love.
And speaking of gigs, we're going to be helping out and showing our support for the My Self-Reliance Freedom Summit coming up this month. It's in the Sydney area. We're going to be doing a market stall there. I'm still undecided at this point, but I might be doing a little workshop there. But either way, come down and see us. It's in the show notes. It's on our social media. We've been posting about it recently. So make sure you're following us on all that so you can stay in the loop.
And the most important part of this event that you totally miss is that it's a free 3-day event. You'll only pay if you want to camp for the 3 days, and if you want to see the speakers. So if you just want to come along and you want to check out the stalls and the music and whatever else is on, which is actually quite a lot. There's so much on, not just the speakers. It's a free event. Just register for a ticket. You get a free ticket and you can come along and enjoy. And we hope to see you there. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. Keep your community tight. Keep it tight, folks. Get in there. Meet others that like you. Meet others with similar beliefs. Alexa's laughing because we're joking about what does keep it tight mean? Like, what is this? We're watching
in
a
certain
show.
Situations, it makes no sense.
We're watching a cooking show, and one of the guys kept telling his crew, keep it tight, guys. It sounds like something we'd say, going through a door, raiding a compound in the military. Keep it tight, where you just like stay close together. But that's what I think it means. So keep it tight, come down. Don't be isolated. Don't be off in your little world online, just tweeting with your thumbs or Xing. Do people X now that Twitter's not Twitter anymore?
And And if you're not in Sydney or you can't make it to the event and you want some natural art form products, by all means, go online to naturalartform.com and use the code NaturalAF10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. No matter how many times you order, you can use that code. And the October newsletter is about to drop. So if you haven't already, join the mailing list at naturalartform.com and you'll be the first to get notified with all the latest updates, all of our upcoming events, all of our affiliates. There's so much in the newsletter, so be sure to subscribe. All right, guys, so let's get into the episode. Enjoy the interview, enjoy the music, and if you love Jess's music, be sure to support her. All the links are in the show notes, and let's get into it.
Let's go.
Jessica Jasmine is an Australian-based singer-songwriter who has been at work for many years writing songs for the people that address hard subjects, bring healing, happiness, and even inspire critical thinking. Jessica aspires to be an artist that creates timeless music that leaves a legacy and is a big believer in the power of music and what it can do for people. By connecting to the frequencies and vibration it carries, Jessica believes that music has the power to help us expand our consciousness, our understanding of the world, and our understanding of who we are as individuals. She is adamant that the world deserves good, empowering music and encourages people to find artists that are creating this type of music.
Well, welcome to Natural AF, Jessica. So good to have you here. Lovely to see you.
So stoked. We've only been talking about it for like over a year.
I know. Do you know, I actually was thinking about that while I was getting ready. I was like, I'm pretty sure I asked you to come on at the beginning of the year at the LFM picnic. I was like, we have to get you on because we've obviously had your mum on. And, you know, we're all just part of the LFM family. So it's been a long time coming.
I know we've talked about this one and we've talked about you and me on errands because it would be a really fun time.
Oh, that would be so much fun. We're just waiting for her to launch it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously we know you very well by now, but for our audience, do you want to share a little bit of your journey with your music and I mean, how you started? I know it's maybe little known in our community, but your mum has a beautiful singing voice. So it obviously runs in the family. So I imagine you grew up with it, but tell us a bit more about your journey and sort of what's led you to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, you know my mum. For those that don't know, my mum, Dottie Jansen, she runs some incredible things. But being her daughter, we grew up in the church. So literally from the age of 3, mum had me on stage for the choir, and then she'd take me back into creche. Like, okay, I put you on, sing, take you back. There you go. Here we go, Jess. And I would always sing in the choir with her. And I think it was about 4 years old. We did a Christmas song together. And she just stopped singing halfway through and let me, to test me, I guess. Be like, well, she just kept going, and I just kept going. And my whole life, I was never shy, that's for sure. I used to climb up in the shopping centres onto some high thing and be like, excuse me, everybody, I have a song to sing for you. Like,
oh my gosh, really?
out as well, like in prep, first year of school in Melbourne. I came up with the idea. I got a little group and when we were learning Word, typed up very badly a little church song and taught all the girls in my group. I'm like, all right, we're going to practice this song. We're going to go in lunchtime to every school teacher's room. We're going to sing for candy. And we got a lot of candy. always looking for an opportunity to do some kind of music. And, as we got older in the church, Mum and I did a lot of missionary work as well. So we did a lot. We did underground churches in China back when they were killing people for smuggling in things like that. So there's one story in China where Mum couldn't come because it was basically us small ones. I was 16, by the way. And they smuggled us in the floor of a van up the mountains to go and speak at this youth camp.
Oh my gosh.
And surprisingly enough, this whole youth camp was all the wives of generals and politicians sending their kids without the husbands knowing to go learn about God. So yeah,
Wow.
it's one of those, like, I've had this really crazy life of just so many differences, and sometimes I just sit and reflect. I'm like, oh yeah, we went through that phase. Like,
Yeah, you guys
um,
have got some crazy stories.
I ended up in Vanuatu by myself. I got delayed with the group that I was supposed to go with because my grandfather passed away, went to the funeral. And it was one of those stories where you kind of just got to lean into um, the favor and just trust, because I was 17 at this stage in Vanuatu, didn't know anyone, had that realization of, I don't speak this language. I don't understand the currency. I don't know where the heck I'm going. And I stood there, and I used to sing in the church every once a month. We used to do like a big gathering where different youth groups would come together. And I'm standing there like, Lord, you need to help me. And next thing, this car like pulls up, and I hear these girls yelling out my name. They're like, Jessica Jasmine, Jessica Jasmine. I'm like, I didn't recognize them at all, but they had heard me singing. And this story basically, I was supposed to go to a specific island in Vanuatu, but because of the date I arrived, the small flight only left every 3 days. So I was on an island for 3 days before I flew to the next group. And yeah, they rocked up and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, honestly, I have no idea. I'm just waiting for the day to the next island because I'm supposed to go sing up in the jungle type thing. And they're like, oh, come with us. We run like orphanages. So next minute I'm in the back of a ute traveling all over Vanuatu, singing in different like orphanages and stuff. And then finally flew over, and it was like, sometimes I just like, how did I get myself here? I arrived in the airport. The airport was a grass field. The airport building was about the size of a laundry, concrete, and they just took your luggage through, and they say, you come with me. And they took my luggage down to a canoe, and there was me and 3 Vanuatuans. I don't know what my word is there. Go with that. And they're like, get in the boat. And they're like, basically in loincloths. And I'm in a boat with my luggage for 4 hours in this
No
canoe.
way.
Wow.
They could just throw me overboard and no one would have a clue where I am. Mom has no idea where I was. But it ended up being like finally arrived, and it was like really beautiful to experience, I guess, the culture there. And we did this thing that the tribe would do. They trek all the way up through the jungle with like a knife cutting through the bushes to get to the top where they would worship, and saw some really cool stuff. So
I think Isaac's going to go to Vanuatu after this story. This sounds right up his alley. Canoe for 4 hours.
Singing.
Like, yeah, bush, like cutting through the jungle and a hike. Like, this is right up his alley.
I'm picturing, though, is like, I'm picturing like your luggage, and I'm just like, you're just rolling it with you up a mountain through the jungle with like a neck pillow on your neck.
And then I'm like, I left the luggage there, and I remember one time there was like, oh, there's this stream that goes through the jungle, and I'm like, I want to swim, and then I'm getting in and just floating down, like no care in the world. Now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, Jess, stuff. So yeah, very church upbringing, and I still have my faith. Like I believe so much. I've seen some incredible things to the point of I literally cannot deny my faith. But what got me is, I know we have this conversation a lot with living free and the way the world is as I came back and I heard this really big call in my life, and it was always, you are called to be in it, not of it, in it, not of it. I kept like being like, I feel like I'm called to write music and go sing in the world. And of course, religiosity can be a big part. And it was like, no, you're meant to sing in the church and for the church, and anything else is of the devil. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like my conviction of this call that I've like literally visions my whole life, like seeing what it looks like, hearing and feeling, I guess manifesting, was like, no, that's not it. So that's kind of when I left, I guess, the church as a building or institution more so. And started to go out on my own and did some songwriting. Doors opened up for me to go over to LA. And because I knew who I was, I knew I wouldn't cross any lines. I don't regret the experience, but it was very much, okay, here's these beautiful songs I've written. And then because I hadn't really found my sound. It was like there was a lot of outside influences of like, oh, you could be pop, you could be this, you could be that. And I guess as an artist, that's part of like, you know what you want to sing about, but actually finding your frequency and your sound is a really big journey, which was very humbling. But yeah, the music they put out just sounded like the soul had been sucked out of it. And then it started being little bits of, we want you to sing like this. We want you to start dressing sexier. Like, oh, we're going to go out and we're going to hang out with certain people. When they arrive, we just want you to go and flirt a little bit. Like, and I'm just going, I'm sorry, you've totally picked the wrong person to ask this, because I'm not going to do that. Like, there ended up being a bit of like, still to this day, I still don't even have that music, but thank God they tried to get me to sign a contract and I just didn't sign it. I kept just like fluffing around. I'm like, thank God I didn't, because I spent 10 grand on that whole thing and didn't get a single song. So it was like, it was a bit like there was opportunity there, but obviously investment. And it was like, I wasn't even mad, because I feel like I came home and after that, I found my sound. Surprisingly, like, in that little time frame. So, and I guess,
and I love that you said, Jess, sorry, I just want to like stay on that, like that journey of like finding your sound, and even like how, you know, that was such a pinnacle moment for you. Like you said, like I said no, like, you know, as we all know, most people like in our circles know that these things often come with a sacrifice. And it's like, we hear it all the time, like you sell your soul. That's literally what it is, because you are giving up, that authenticity. And like you said, you know who you are, but like that whole thing, like that's standard procedure for them. Like how many young girls will they bring in? They're just like, yep, I'm going to do as much as I'm told. I'm going to
manipulate. And, you know, even people that I've known to pursue music a certain way, or even over there, like artists that I had met in Australia and had been introduced to over there, a few higher end names, they'd be like, it's all right, Jess, just do it their way. And when you make it, you can make a difference. And I'm like, I'm sorry, because it's a spiritual exchange. If I cross that line, I'm a hypocrite. The foundation's done and the impact will never happen. So I was just so shocked as well to see how easy, like people that'd be like, yeah, no, I stand for this. And it was like, oh yeah, okay, let's go. And you're like, what? Like,
and the next thing you know, they're on stage, they're Katy Perry and their eyes are blinking at the same time. And they're like completely robots.
Yeah.
So it was definitely interesting. But yeah, coming back, that was, I went to LA 7 years ago. I think that was 7 years ago. And I knew coming back, it was like that decision within myself, and the knowing of, okay, this journey is going to be far longer, but it's going to be so much more worth it. And yeah, it literally has. Life has been a crazy journey in amongst, I know you know my mum, so you know some of the journey we've been on with some stuff along that way. And it just feels like there has been so many hurdles, but I think the more I've gone through hard shit, the more the faith builds on. If I've been through it, been through the hard, gone to the low, come back out the other side, the more the faith builds on, well, when the hard stuff comes, I know we're going to get through it. So it's like the history ends up being the prophecy of the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think so many people can relate to that whole thing. I know that we can in so many different ways, where you do reach this fork in the road, and often there is this choice of like this bright, shiny thing that looks really good. And like, you know, whether it's like, you know, my last job, for example, like it was, if I wanted to continue that career, I could have, and I would have done very well and I would have worked my way up. But honestly, like it was, like you said, it was like soul sucking. Like my heart wasn't in it. There was no passion there. It was literally just a paycheck. And it was like, I was on really good money. I was felt very secure in that way. And I had to make that choice to leave and do what I feel like is more on purpose for me. And it is a hard road. It's always a harder road. But like you said, it like builds that resilience and that faith in God that you're always going to be looked after, even when it's challenging.
Yeah, exactly. And the reward is so much better than, you know, the short time gains as well. So I'm definitely seeing that. And I guess moving forward a little bit, COVID happened. So literally for the sake of being around other musos, within the same day I was like, I'm going to sign up for uni. Sign up for uni. Just sign up to do uni because I'm bored. And I need to be musos because he's not a muso. So I was like, I just need to be around musicians. And started going and studying a bachelor. I'd previously done a diploma of production. And just started observing other artists as well, and feel like I met a lot of like-minded people. And through COVID, I was definitely one of those people that got banned on Facebook many times. And even in uni, I look back, I'm like, gosh, I'm bold sometimes. Like I would just speak my mind, and I would have teachers calling me for a chat because they were struggling so much.
Oh, wow.
In that system, and we just jump right down the rabbit hole, and a few other artists as well. I know I share this at the festival as well. You love Jim Barron's from last year, Jolly and Charlie, the violin, they're awesome. And along with a few other artists throughout uni, I'm like, man, we need to shape things up. I don't want to be a part of the system like the way that the elites do music or film. I'm like, you'll see one day we're going to be doing our own festivals. And I'm like, I would say it with so much confidence. And I'm like, geez, you sound like you're talking a lot of shit. Like, here goes another 3 years or 4 years, 3 years, something around that. We came up to do the property day where I got to see you guys, and Net did an interview with me as well. And then Dave approached me to help with the festival. And I had literally taken notes of the people at uni that I'm like, they have the right heart. And I would put notes because it's more than just the sound, as you know, it's what they carry is being released through the music. And it was so cool. I cry every time I share this, but I remember ringing them and being like, I'm not full of shit. Like, I'm doing this festival. And they're like, you're freaking kidding me. So it was like, and then coming up to the festival as well, like that realization when, I'm seeing all these beautiful artists come up and the opportunity, and just being like, wow, this happened, like what I've envisioned happen. So see it growing, like the year we've just had. And, it takes time. It's like a baby where we're investing, we're slowly nurturing. And I mean, I know you guys and everyone involved in Living Free, we all have jobs, we all have so much. So we are literally doing it out of the overflow of our hearts. And because, we're giving from that place of, I guess, manifesting and seeing it's a spiritual exchange, and you actually breathe life on it. And that's what we're starting to see. Obviously, we had some things shift after the first one, and we found our feet again. But I feel like, we did our meeting the other day already talking about the next one. It was like, you feel it? You feel that fire burn.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. Like, I didn't know that you just sharing that story. I'm just like, it's actually wild how many people had that intention before, that was 4 years prior to the first festival. The first time that we went up to the property, Mum and I, we met Tom and Dave for the first time, and we introduced. Mum was a Living Free member. I wasn't. I obviously knew about it. And so we went up, and that was when I met Chloe for the first time, and we've been pretty much best friends ever since. And I remember that first time we were up there, I said to Dave, I was like, we should bring Music and Sky out here, because I'd heard an interview of I think Mike Winner and whoever he'd partnered with, and they were saying, we're happy people, we can give them the framework of the festival, and they're like, we want to spread it around the world. And I said to Dave, we should bring Music and Sky here, we should totally do a festival. And he had been talking about it with other people before we met, and it's just crazy how it is such a collective effort, as we've seen. And even before it happened, look at all this intention from so many different people, and it just kind of came together at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. It's the divine timing of things. And sometimes you're probably very similar. Sometimes you'll be carrying something like, okay, I know I need to do this, but it's not time yet. It's not time. And then one day you'll be like, oh, I feel the burning. And then you do all whatever it was. And then it's just it just falls out and happens. that actually happened with my band for this year. So the first year was I kind of used some of my mates that I had gotten to perform as well. I'm like, hey, do you mind kind of putting together a band with me? We help each other out. But coming into this year, I kept feeling, I'm like, no, I need to find my band now. Like, I need to find my people who will support me. And this is 5 weeks before the festival, by the way. Leave things to the last minute. My partner was like, you haven't even got a band yet. I'm like, oh no.
Well, I was going to say, if anyone could pull it together, you can, Jess.
This is giving me anxiety. I was like, it'll be fine. And then I was in the middle of work, and I'm like, I just had this little like ding, okay, it's time. So I jumped on like a Facebook community page for musicians and did a post, and there was so many comments and messages, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so many. But it was like, I looked at the comments and the right ones were highlighted. And it turns out 3 out of the 4 I knew, or they knew me through uni. And my guitarist, very on the same page. He was like, I remember you always speaking at uni and like your songs. And I was like, she's cool, because I spoke the same as his thoughts with the way COVID was in life. And yeah, we did 4 practices. And my big thing was like, guys, I'm not just after a session muso. Like, this is what I sing about. This is what I believe, like in the power of music and being a vessel. And, it's a collective energy. If we're on a stage together, if we're in sync, it's the same as us playing the festival. We all agree on it. So it happens. They were just so amazing, and they were so excited as well. And they've been like, yeah, we're in for whatever this looks like. If it grows slowly, it doesn't matter. We want to support. So yeah, just feeling really humbled in that process, and a reminder, because we're still human. You have your days where you question yourself, and then you got to train yourself to remind yourself who you are. Remember what happened here. Remember what happened there. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to draw on that experience, because that's what's going to help sow into the favor happening again. And it was very much the same with the Rolling Back the Curtains music video that we're going to show shortly. If you want, I'll tell a little bit about that story too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because, well, this was my first sort of introduction to your music. So this was before the first festival. So I think, was it you that created the Spotify playlist of all the artists that were going to be at the festival? Yeah. So I saw that. I was like, yeah, I'm going to listen, because I didn't really know anyone. And I loved it. And yeah, that was the first time I heard Rolling Back the Curtains. But what's so crazy is I never really listened to the lyrics that much. Like, when you just got the music playing in the background, you're not really paying too much attention. Obviously, like, I would kind of sing along, especially in the chorus. But it wasn't until I watched an interview of yours, maybe like, I don't know, almost a year later, or like within a few months, probably after the festival. And you guys were talking about the song and played the video. And when I watched the video and heard the song, it's like I saw it through a completely different lens and heard it through a completely different lens. And I think you were there, and I was crying, and he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, this music video is just so beautiful, and the song, and it's like, yeah, it's funny when a music video especially can like really bring the song to life. Please share more about that song and what inspired you to write it, and then like doing the music video, that whole process.
Yeah, well, that's actually my only song that's out. I've been slowly nurturing the songs, so I'm doing it old school, and I'm trying to slowly raise the funds for the last couple songs. I want 4 more recorded, and then I'm going to have a whole album done, because the way I see having an album, this is another thing about music, which we'll get back to. Everything singles, fast food, digest. When you actually are an artist and you give an album, there's intention to the way it flows. So that's what I want to come back to. I have so many songs, it's ridiculous, but this particular album will be the Rolling Back the Curtains album, and that will be a lot of the songs that I've sung at the festival. And then I already know the next 2 albums. They're there. It's just getting the wheels turning or the rolling back the curtain.
That's awesome though. That's such a good point to make, because I know I have always been the type of person. I mean, obviously growing up, we were like, you'd go out and buy your CD and like you'd like live like, and you wouldn't buy a single. It was so rare because you're like, why would I spend like $5 on a single when I can spend 20 and get a whole album?
Yeah. How much has it changed with buying things on a CD versus streaming platforms now? Is it, because I used to be in a band and we would burn our own CDs and stuff, and it was very tangible.
Yeah.
It was like, this is our music. You come and you get one of these and you have our music. Now it's just sign up for a streaming platform.
Yeah. And it's so true though. Like when I see an artist that I follow has released an album, I get so excited because I love, if it's an artist that I love, I want to listen to a whole album, not just like singles over and over again.
Yeah. And they're giving it, like they're giving more than a season. Like a lot of artists, that's songs over a journey, that is a chunk of someone's life, like being given to you for you to interpret and feel. And that's where, like, you know, you go back to your old school rock and the albums, like even like Black Sabbath and, you know, all those old school ones. And if you actually listen to, even when Ozzy Osbourne died, like my partner and I were listening through all the albums. There's a lot of albums. When it was Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and he's an interesting one, and I like talking about him because the world basically posted him as basically the Prince of Darkness. And the story behind that is actually really interesting. So obviously he still had a pretty crazy life, but if you actually go and study his lyrics, there's so much disses to the system, and like he makes so many jokes about, oh, you guys call me, you know, the Prince of Darkness, or you say I'm of the devil, but this is actually what I'm saying. And that's interesting as well, coming back to the church, because like, oh, this person's of the devil, and that's what this and that. And I feel like so many artists that actually had the right things to say, whether they were perfect or not, because a lot of them weren't. A lot of them were smothered by the industry, and their way of trying to reach people was through their music. So we've been diving through a lot of old school music and just like studying the lyrics. I don't know if you know this song by Stone Temple Pilots. Is that their name? I'm going to forget it. What's it called?
We probably don't know it anyway, Jess.
Literally a song. Oh yeah, I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. Hunger. Yeah, I'm going hungry. I've got to find it now. I'll send it to you later. But if you read the lyrics, he's actually talking about the farming of babies. And what they. I'm going.
It is interesting, like listening back to old songs. Like every now and then, Isaac and I will hear an old song and we're just like, oh, that's a bit of a truth drop. Like you start to hear things in a different way and see things in a different way. But it's interesting when you're looking back or, you know, listening to things from like, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the journey that we're on in society for those who are awake and aware or on the journey of waking up is how do we be intentional with the things in our lives? How do we love movies, you know, if you love music, you love movies, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But how can you be intentional so it actually serves you rather than takes? Like it's same with, you know, the songs that we hear that's just singles and fad and, you know, it's so degrading and so much about suicide, and that's the energy they're putting on somebody.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we have such high rates of suicide in teens, because if they're feeling misunderstood, they turn to movies, they turn to music, and it's not in an intentional way. So I guess as an artist, and that's why I love talking when I perform, is like I like to talk about the songs because it's almost an invitation for people to accept and lean into the lyrics as well. I feel like I've touched on so many subjects in that time.
I feel like it's harder to connect to artists now because it's back in the day we used to, you know, we'd get the CDs or we had cassettes. You'd roll out the insert and you'd have the band, the pictures of the band in there, maybe a short bio, and then each song's lyrics. And we would actually play the tracks over and over again, reading the lyrics.
Yeah, I used to
and,
do
like,
the same thing.
remembering it. You know, well, I guess
Yeah.
now we have. I mean, if you're on Spotify, you've got the
lyrics come up.
transcribed,
Yeah.
and you can do that.
I do love that, not that I love the streaming side of it, but I do love
Right.
that the lyrics are there now. I definitely need to upload mine to Rolling Back the Curtain so people can actually read them as well. But yeah, I guess it's that space of being intentional about things. And yeah, asking the questions. Oh, what is this song about? Like actually being interested as well. Like I figured out the song, so it's called Hunger Strike by Stone Temple Pilots. I got that part right. And the lyrics are like, literally, I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence, but I can't feed on the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. But it's on the table. The fire is cooking. They're farming babies. The slaves are working.
Oh, wow.
Like, this is a song that if you played it, you would know it. And people sing along, but they don't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we, shift to the, like, teaching people how to be aware of the music and how to use it to serve your life. And the questioning, like, I know so many times I'll be singing to a song or even a song I've heard many times, and then one lyric gets me and I'm like, hang on a second. And then next minute I'm having a revelation on what the artist is really trying to say, even more than the words, because we know in music sometimes it's little hints.
Yeah.
With Rolling Back the Curtains, that was through COVID as well. And I'd been doing a lot of study on child trafficking, and specifically having come back from LA, what it is tied into Hollywood and the elites, royals, and all those crazy things. So, and I knew it was sitting in here for ages. And again, one of those things, oh yeah, I'm going to write a song about this. Not yet. And I was sitting at home, was by myself, and I just felt this overwhelming, like a burden, really. Like, it was so heavy, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go and sit at the piano. And I put my phone on record straight away. I've got to dig for this recording because I do have this somewhere. And I just, kind of sat and played some keys and found the right sound to create that feeling. Because I'm always looking for, okay, I want to write about something, but I want the feeling to be there. So I found the right sound and just started playing it a little bit. And then I just started, I sang the first two lines, which is, hey, little girl, don't say a word, even if he hurts you. Hey, little girl, don't say a word. The world won't listen to you. And at that point, I stopped and just cried for about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm ready. And then I sang pretty much the song all the way through, and then went back and listened and wrote down my lyrics. And it was just this really incredible, I guess it's spiritual as well. Like, I'm very big on, it being a gift. So I try to honor it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, do you feel like it's almost like a bit of a download? That's how people refer to it. Like, do you feel like it's just something coming through you?
Yeah, so I find with my songwriting, some will be a labor of love, where I'm investing into it for a while, and then other times it will just flow right out. It's actually funny, I sang it in my solo set at the Living Free. There's a song I wrote for my partner because we're getting married next year. We were kind of like, I'd been away for 2 weeks, came back and just sat and was playing and found a sound, and I'm like, oh, that feels right. And I was so glad I quickly put my phone on record and I just started singing, and he's like looking at me. And I sang this whole song the whole way through. It was a wedding style song. And at the end, he's like, whose song's that? I was like, I just made it up. And
I love that.
And his reaction was like, what? You just made this up on the spot? Like, I was like, yeah, I made it for you. I had a couple of drinks.
That's so cute, because I'm just imagining him listening, thinking you're doing a cover, and he's just like, oh, whose song is that?
It's on my Instagram, actually. I
think I actually have seen that video. Like, when you first posted it was a while ago. I think I did watch that.
It was a while ago, but it was so funny. People were messaging friends of ours going, oh, they put it up and staged it and da-da-da-da. I was like, sure. I'm like, I barely post on Facebook. I'm not a social media person. Like, my pitch at a gig is, hey guys, give us a follow on socials. I don't post much. You might see a video of my dog, but I'll let you know when it comes out. Like, and I know I should be way better at socials. something I'm giving myself a talk to about. But yeah, it was so funny. But yeah, it can just flow out. Or other times, like I'm just stewing on wordplay all the time, or things I want, and I'll be like a quick video voice memo or type some lyrics down, which is cool. So it's a really cool process, and I like try really hard to honor it.
Can I ask, Jess, too, in terms of like playing instruments, was that just something that was like introduced to you early on and you just kind of picked it up, or did you do lessons in certain things? Because like I grew up singing as well. Like I started, actually it's funny you reminded me, I often forget that I started in choir as well when I was in primary school. And I loved singing. And then when I went into high school, I said to mom, because I played violin. And when I started high school, I said to mum, I don't want to do violin anymore. I want to do vocal coaching. And she was devastated because I'd done violin for like 4 years and I was really good. And now I'm just like, I can't even read sheet music anymore. It's so disappointing because if you don't use it, you lose it. And and so I sang all through high school. I did lots of performing and, working in recording studios and different things like that. But I do not, like, I played violin, but I can't play an instrument to save my life. Like, and I'm not like those people, I've got people in my extended family, they just pick up a guitar and play it, and they just can play just by ear and like on piano. So are you one of those, or were you like trained?
I'm a terrible student. I just same with dance. Like I used to do dance, but it was like, can't I just do my own thing? Like, yeah, it was one of those ones. Like I did a tiny bit of classes, but I was always like, I don't like my teacher, or I'm not vibing their energy, mum, or whatnot. So I would just the only thing I did was sing in church. Like I didn't really have vocal training or anything. And then I remember being about 14, and I was like, I want a guitar. Mum's like, but you won't do lessons. I'm like, no, I'll teach myself. And she's like, okay, sure. So and yeah, I just thankfully that was kind of like early days of YouTube. So I was watching music tutorials, and there's like an app called Ultimate Guitar, which just came out. So I got a lifetime subscription for $80. Everyone else is paying like $24 a month. So yeah, I just built up songs and started with easy stuff. Like I'm not like a crazy guitarist, but it's like I'll just sit there. Like the other day, I started writing a song. Actually, I need to listen to that because that was another one I just played, and I was like, oh, down. But it was like I found some sounds. I'm like, I don't even know what chords I'm playing. Like, so, yeah, a lot of things is by ear for me, which I'm grateful for. I can read a little bit, but my brain just goes, oh my gosh, error. I have to work
that's such a faster way to get through it though, because you're not having to, I guess, transpose another person's style, their voice, their individual stuff through a teacher teaching you how to play like they play, and then show your own. You're just kind of starting from your own voice. That's how I learned to play bass.
And I have to reverse engineer my own songs because I understand like piano theory is much easier. Like it's the same the whole way through, but on the guitar, I play guitar a lot more than piano, but I'll write a song on guitar and not know what the chords are. So then I've got to go and figure out the melody by ear on the piano to be like, oh, that's my chords. Like,
yeah, I did guitar lessons in high school for I think only one term of school. Like it was after school, and not for me. Not for me. It hurt my fingers. I think around that time too, I'd started, or not long after that, I think I started getting like acrylic nails for the first time. I was like, I would much rather have long nails, and obviously you can't play guitar, but it hurt my fingers. The chords just fried my brain, just like having to know like the finger placements, and then like if you're reading it, I was just not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, it's definitely like guitar was a little bit more like, especially like getting the strumming pattern with the music. But I feel like something clicked along the way. Like even my first gig, I guess I am definitely the person that just throws myself in the deep end and just is like, yeah, we'll figure it out. My first, oh my gosh, was like, I got asked by the wife of an owner of a club in Surfers to come and do a set. But I didn't realize it was going to be like in the nightclub before the DJ came on, and I'd done all this of these, like, come and let it go, all these really
Yeah.
and there's people there just like, aren't we supposed to be like vibing? And I was like, the longest 2 hours of my life, but
Oh my
I had to
gosh.
start somewhere. And
Yeah.
even like life was so, I've always been juggling like a million hustles just to provide for myself or whatnot. So a lot of the time I'm practicing songs at a gig. I'll be like, I'm going to try that song I've been listening to and just like sprinkle some confidence and hopefully get it. Like, and yeah, I've slowly over time become a lot more confident.
I love that. Well, that's honestly, it's so much better to lead with confidence because so many people have the competence to do things, but they don't have the confidence, and that's where they fall over.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely have to laugh at myself sometimes.
All right, well, let's play the video and then let's talk a little bit more about the process of making the video. Yeah.
Video, yes, exactly. Yay.
Hey little girl, don't say a word, even if it hurts you. Hey little girl, don't say a word, the world won't listen to you. Little boy blues, wearing red shoes, screaming, how is it that this is what you're doing? Little boy blues, covered in bruises, running through the woods as they tighten up their loose ends. But I'm rolling back the curtains, putting on the spotlight of things unseen. I'm rolling back the curtains, the showing over it's your time to see. I'm rolling back the curtains, I'm rolling back the curtains. Mothers and daughters, sisters and friends, fathers and brothers, how will your story end? Girl, I won't stop now. Lift your head up, child, put your seatbelts on. It's about to get wild. Ooh. 'Cause I won't stop now. Lift your head up, child, put your seatbelts on. It's about to get wild.
do it without birth certificates, so it's easier to kill them and have no one actually ask them what happened to them.
Evil, deviant criminals. That's how police have described theme park workers and even a judge who were among the 108 people arrested. Next to like a shocking story when dozens of missing children were rescued in a dramatic anti-sex trafficking operation.
But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. To the depth of the sea. To the depth of the sea.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, powerful message.
That last scene, it just gets me every time. Like, you just can't help but like watching it, it feels she's great, that young girl. It felt so real, like watching her and just the expressions on her face, and yeah, just that last scene and people being silenced, and yeah, just brilliant. Did such a good job on that.
It was, the whole team involved was so incredible. And before I backtrack, so Paris at the time was 17, 16. So, but she was quite little because we were trying to portray someone around the 12-year-old mark. And it was, again, like same with my music, really important for people to understand the vision and what this was about. So the director, Adam, and myself spoke to her quite a bit, and she was like, no, I want to do this. I feel like I can connect with this. I'm going to cry. This one makes me cry a lot. And what's really amazing, like, because she was on the trajectory to be very successful, she's actually living over in LA at the moment. And she basically I think she got sponsored, and she's been there a couple of years now. And one of their first major projects was to create a film. And she made it about child exploitation as well. So that was her first thing in LA that she put out. Yeah, she was like, inspired me to do that. So in everything I do, I want to be aware that this happens. So yeah, I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, her and her mum were amazing. But yeah, to backtrack on the journey of this. So when I wrote the song, and I do this with not every song I write, but a lot of them I'll vision what the music video would be. So I've got a few brewing up here. Again, it comes down to the funding, so we'll get there eventually. But for this one, like, I saw it so strongly. And now the actual production of this song took over a year because we were full-on COVID lockdowns. So I go sneak over to the producer's place, Mick lost power. He did an amazing job, and he really obsessed over it as well. And like every time we were in the studio working, like we were praying over it, just, you know, for humility and it to be coming from that pure place, so it wasn't coming from strain. And I mean, every element of that song had intention. So being COVID, there was no live music. That was all done in MIDI. So every sound we would be looking and listening to, you know, a snare drum 20 times over to find the right sound. So every element was really intentional, which was cool. But it took a long time. And then a year later was 22 floods. So that's where Mum started. Yeah, that was that whole flood situation where they were raising funds. And she was with Dave O'Neig's, and another lady was helping called Haley Birdwell Eats. And she runs a big branding company up in Brisbane. And Mum had met her through volunteering, and Haley does a lot with the Australia's Largest Lunch, which is a charity event to raise funds for child exploitation. And as your mum does, oh, my daughter's a singer, you need to talk to my daughter. And Haley's like, yeah, I've heard that before. And she's like, no. That's like, please give her, I'm going to get her to send you the audio recording of the demo at the time. And I sent it to her. She's so funny. We're still really good friends today. And I haven't even spoken to her yet. She just rings me and goes, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Are you fucking joking?" Like, she keeps going on. What's going on? She's like, "I need you at my event." She's like, "We booked like the previous year." She's like, "Oh, we normally book this famous person or this famous person and this one." She's like, "But I don't want to hire anyone. We want you and you need to sing this song." And I was like, "Okay." And I just felt that little voice going, "You need to tell her about the music video." And I said, "You might not know anyone, but what the I'm gonna tell you about the music video because you might know someone. Who knows?" And I told her the vision and she goes, "Okay, bye," and hangs up on me. And I'm like, "Okay." She's a bit of a love her for that. And then she rings back later and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna link you into a phone call. It's a 3-way phone call. You're gonna have a chat to Adam." And then next minute I'm on a phone call with Adam
Oh, wow.
and a guy who runs Hark Angels. He does a lot overseas as well. Some really, really beautiful work. He runs wineries down in Adelaide. But yeah, basically it was like, I'm going to get the funding sorted and this is the director. So you guys got planning to do. We've got 5 weeks. It's always 5 weeks for some reason to get this started for the event. So, and we did a lot of pre-production. So it was Adam and I, because I had the concept. So we went back and forward on the script. And yeah, I was very like, again, specific on like, no, it needs to have this across. And he was out, like, Adam's amazing. He was out scouting, door knocking on people's properties down in, we ended up doing it down in Lithgow. So Blue Mountains, New South Wales.
Yeah, I was wondering where you filmed it.
Yeah, it was Blue Mountains and it was so cold. So our film days were like 3-4 degrees, like Paris in that time dress. I'm like, every time she had like a big blanket, I'm like, "Come here, my burrito." Like trying to like, and like saying when I was at the piano, I was like, I don't do cold very well. And they like rang me up. "Are you okay with color editing because you're blue?" I'm like, "Yes, color editing." So yeah, the lead up was really cool. And yeah, just everyone involved was so invested again. Like we had, Adam did amazing work calling and scouting all the locations. So even some of the ruins and places we use for filming, no one else is allowed to film there. Like,
oh, wow.
So they let us go in and use these places. So the actual community of Lithgow really got behind it. And they actually came forth and told us and said, there is history here in Lithgow of this type of thing happening. And we want to be a part of something that does the opposite, which was really cool.
Awesome.
And people like donating and the cast as well. So we had all the extras that we didn't pay them anything. We just put the word out and people wanted to come and be a part of it. And there was one particular girl. So the scene where she's run up to where all the people are and I'm on the hill and we start taking the tape off people's faces. So I'm not going to say exactly, but one of the extras before we did the filming, again, it was really important for me as an artist, but for this as well, it's really important to break that stigma of being put on a pedestal because we're just humans and we're just sharing we've been given, and it is one of those ones that is seen. So you are in the limelight, but I really didn't want that. Oh my God, the artist or whatnot. So the first thing I did was make sure I was chatting to the extras and sharing again, like I've just shared with you, the story of how I wrote it and how it came about. So here we are at the bottom of the ruins before we climbed back up, and I've got my little speaker and I've told it we're freezing our butts off. And I'm like, click play. I'm like holding the speaker for everyone to hear for the first time because none of them had heard the song. And everyone just was breaking down. There was a lot of tears, but one girl in particular was off to the side and she broke down to her knees and was proper sobbing. So I put the speaker down. I went and held her and I was like, this is a deep one for you, isn't it? And she actually lifted up her stomach and her top and showed me scars all the way across her stomach. from abuse that she'd copped. So it was, and she was like, my parents kept telling me I shouldn't come and do it because it would unlock trauma for me, but I knew I had to be a part of this. And like she's in that music video, and it was just like everyone understood how important it was. And I did say, I was like, guys, want to cry and just let the emotion. I'm like, we want to capture authenticity here. And I really did. Like, the music video is so stunning. I cry every time.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, just the stories behind it, like you can feel it, like it comes through. I mean, there's so much intention in the song already, but even in the video. And I just think, like, I love what you did with it too, because just little elements, like the fact that you had a woman in there that's an abuser, because quite often in these situations, people think they're like these, dirty men. And it's like, there's almost always women involved, because they're the ones that like recruit the kids, because generally kids will go to women over men. And just like little details like that, and the tunnels, because obviously, as we know now, the tunnels are a huge part of these operations and how they transport them. And you just did such a good job with that.
Yeah, everything was intentful. I mean, there's only a couple people, so people know it's about child exploitation, but child exploitation happens everywhere, so we want to cover all of it. But there is a lot of little ticks in there that is about the high-end elites and what they do, and a lot of people haven't gone so deep down that rabbit hole. And look, it is, for anyone who wants to go on that deep dive, it is a heavy burden to carry. But what we need to realize is these things, to be educated or to go down that rabbit hole or even listen to this music video or have the conversation, isn't to make people feel bad for the life they have, or that concept of, oh, but I can't do anything. I couldn't do anything. All I had to give was a song. I don't have tons of money to be out there, partnering up with Tim Ballard from Sound of Freedom and physically going in and saving them. What I had to give was a song. So we all have a sphere of influence, whatever that looks like. And most of the time it's conversating in amongst our friend group, or just bringing light onto it, because there's so much more we could do in prevention, and how to see the signs of grooming and stuff in our own backyard. Like, I know someone personally, actually two people personally. One, her own father was high up, friends rubbing shoulders with Australian politicians, and she was abused as well. She got brought into some of these parties and whatnot, and still, like, in her 60s, was trying to get her father imprisoned. And even here on the Gold Coast, there's a story, I won't say which school exactly, but this father partnered with the principal and was working in the school and raping children. And she tried to call the police. And who did the police go to first? The principal. So they covered it up. Another friend of mine, he contacted me and told me his story because of my music video. I knew him working in sales, and he said, I was a part of a Catholic church in Frankston in Victoria, a Catholic school, sorry, and some of us would be escorted on excursions to go to these parties where they would be abused. And he actually was so abused, they broke his back, and it stunted his brain. He's got he could be an incredible person to interview as well, because he's very open about his abuse on Insta, social media and whatnot now. But yeah, like, it happens in our own backyard. And that's the thing. A lot of people's mindset is, oh, it happens in third world country. No, it doesn't. I nearly got abducted at 14. Was walking through the bush. My brother and I had actually had a fight. I'm like, Mum said we needed to be home by 10. And he's like, I'm staying with my friends. So I had my tiny dog and I was walking through the bushes, and a car had been scoping me. And I went into the bushes, and it had like a fork in the road big enough for a car to follow. And I'd always follow the boys with the lights on their shoes. So I was always a bit of a tomboy. I always hung out with my brother and his mates. And I remember, like, stopping at the fork in the road and being like, which way am I going to go? I don't actually know. And as I stood there, this car came flying, tried to run me down. I was quite a fast runner, so I ran into the bushes, actually tripped over the log, a really big log, and held my dog. I rolled over close to try and stay close to it, and there was a group about 4 men, some were younger, got out, started looking through the bushes, yelling out.
Oh my gosh, how terrifying.
Yeah. And this is, you know, one of those experiences where I cannot deny my faith, because in that moment I was pretty confident. I used to be a sprinter, I used to do a lot of athletics, and I wanted to run home because I was angry at my brother for not coming with me. And I remember getting up to go, and I was actually so scared I peed myself. Blamed it on the dog, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been blaming it on the dog all these years. I was so petrified. But in that moment of I'm about to run home, I heard a voice so clearly say, "No, do not run home. You need to run to your brother. Not yet." And I waited, and I just heard this voice go, "Now." And I sprinted, like getting the phone out, screaming the whole way along. My brother and his mates came, and my brother's mates actually had a police scanner, the mum, so they listened in, and they ended up getting caught. But of course, nothing had been done. So what are they going to do? There's no evidence of anything that's happened. So yeah, it's very real in a lot of manners. I've also seen the impact in people in my family who have copped abuse, and what it robs from them, and what it robs from not only them but the family, because of that trauma and what it allows into their lives. And it's very, very, very sad to see, because it's sadly other people's decisions that rob. You know, we talk about free will, and people go, "Oh, why wouldn't God do that?" Because God gave free will, and it is a hard one to swallow. But you know, having the faith of healing, and you know, it being a fire to the flame to speak about and make it known as well. So yeah, I'd love to, you know, I'm not going to say in a perfect world, when the wheels get in motion, the rolling back the curtains gains momentum, my music as well. Like, I definitely want to find a way to find the right charities as well. That's the hard thing as well, is finding the right ones, because there is so much corruption. And, you know, same with the festival. It's like, well, if we're not finding it, we've got to start it. So there is definitely a really big goal for me, not just with my music, but what I want to do with that music. Like, there's a few heavy subjects sitting in my I need to write a song, like one of those ones, I'm feeling the burden sitting there, but it's not there yet. You know, and a lot of it is pointing out things that are wrong in the system. So I guess a lot of my music's pretty ballsy, but it's all about coming back to who we are as well. So not all of them are like, "Oh my God, this is depressing." There's a lot of life that you've heard and it's like, we want to be able to talk about the hard stuff, but we, you know, not just like, here's the hard thing, deal with it. So, okay, we're acknowledging this hard thing. So how do we take that to actually be something that helps us grow?
Well, we're definitely moving into a new, and it's not that new, but it's this music, like you experienced in LA and Hollywood and all that. The music is literally used as like black magic to cast spells, to inject ideas into people's minds. Yeah. And the symbolism that they use to help with it does a whole different purpose. This is like flipping the switch on in a totally different direction, where you're bringing awareness to this. You're actually speaking, and that resonance to it, I think it is magical, and it is bringing awareness and clarity and the intention in there, and pushing against this. And I think will hopefully start to light up other people, just like at the end of that music video where the tape is coming off, the blindfolds are coming off. Like, that's what starts picking up steam.
Yeah. And that's the most important thing. Like, the awareness isn't about like you said, because in 2020, my parents started going down all the rabbit holes, because we, like, long story short, and listeners of this show know, like, we kind of knew, like, very early on, like, my mum stopped vaccinating me at 4.5 years old. My brother's never had a vaccine in his life. So we kind of knew about Big Pharma. We knew about the corruption. So I grew up with that. But when 2020 hit, like, obviously we knew the whole COVID thing was bullshit. But then my parents started going down all the rabbit holes, because literally, like, one would lead to another, to another, to another. And my mum went a little bit mad during that year. And when she started going through like when she started going down that rabbit hole of like satanic ritual abuse, the stuff they do to children, like all this stuff, which is where the trafficking all comes in. And I honestly, I couldn't even. Yeah. Well, I couldn't even look at it. She would tell me stuff and I would feel sick to my stomach. And I looked at it for years. I couldn't look at it. I couldn't look into it because, and it's funny, like I look back now and where I was at, and obviously COVID was super stressful. Like, especially I was living in Sydney at the time and we would like the minority and, you know, saying no. And it was, my nervous system was just like off the charts, like anxious all the time and stuff. So I can see now, like in retrospect, why I couldn't. And I would highly recommend to people, if you can feel it in your body that it doesn't feel good to look at that stuff, don't. Only do it when you feel ready, because it is fucking heavy. Like only now, like in the last couple of years, and again, since I've done a lot of work on myself and I have, you know, created more capacity to be able to look at those things. And, you know, we've had Rachel Vaughan on the show and her sharing her experience. And that's what's so important, is that it's not to get down in the dumps. It's not to like look at all this stuff and get depressed. And like you said, just think, oh, there's nothing I can do, and like traumatize yourself. It's not about that. It's about knowing that these things happen. And so that if you do see something that looks like this could be happening, asking the question or, you know, like intervening or like whatever you have to do, because that's, like you said at the end of the video, it's good people that do nothing, that's how evil continues in this world, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being aware, like we went, my fiance and I went up to Harvey Bay. We were doing one of the pop-up shops that we do, and we went for a walk in the morning and we saw these two old guys scoping kids at the park, and we were like, we're not leaving. So we just stood and stared at them and waited until we're looking at parents. They're flipping oblivious on their phones, having a scroll, thinking their kids can be free range and nothing's going to happen. And we're looking at them like, are you kidding? Like, this is a thing. And it's not just the sexual exploitation, and it's so many other things. The world is got us so caught up on content that we don't ask questions anymore. And that's like one of my songs, Awake My Heart, comes back to, you know, the questioning. We need to question, because sometimes, and this is my spiritual side as well, sometimes I'll be sitting there and just ponder, you know, have a moment. A lot of people can't sit in their own company anymore. They have to. I don't know what to think, so I need to be told what to think by looking through. And it's
just constant distraction. It's just constant distraction.
And it's amazing. Like we did this on quite a few occasions. I'll just sit there and, you know, you let your mind wander, but you start asking questions. And sometimes spiritually, the answer to a question is sitting there. But if you've never asked for it, it's not going to come. You know, it's calling forth these, you know, spiritual wisdom sometimes, like if that's a good way of saying it, your spiritual wisdom that's there. But so many of us don't meet what we're created to be. It's like that saying of, oh, like someone's given you a word like, oh, you're going to go to this place, or say you're going to go on a flight to Hawaii. And when you go to Hawaii, you're going to meet the love of your life and your world will forever change. But you don't go get on that flight and then it doesn't happen. And then you sit there complaining that your wife didn't rock up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's starting to ask the questions or visualize things. Like I do that a lot with my music when I'm writing a song. Like I'm not just writing, I'm visualizing and like how it would land on people, how it would feel for people. I've just finished writing Peter from Tsunami. She wanted a song and she was like, Jess, I've had this in my heart for ages. I want to have a song for Tsunami. And I'm like, I don't do jingles, girl. If I'm writing a song, it's going to be a proper song. And she sent me some inspiration lyrics. And yeah, I spent some, as soon as she told me, I could already hear this like sound in my head. And I'm like, I kept telling her, I can hear it. I'm like, can't wait to sit down. And yeah, sat down at the piano and it all flowed out, and I sent her just a really rough recording and she's like, I can't stop crying. You know?
That's awesome. So I've seen on your Instagram that you were writing like the last kind of little stories I've seen. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm actually, tomorrow's the day. Again, it was like a matter of time because she's flying to Portugal to receive some awards on a national stage. Like, it's a huge deal.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, a song to walk on the stage to. And I'm like, that's like a couple weeks away. All right.
I was going to say that's. Yeah, I was going to say that's your wheelhouse. You'll get it done in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, booked in tomorrow. It was supposed to literally be like 3 days before, but I was like, oh Lord, please like bring that forward. And then my producer's like, oh, it's opened up. Do you want to? I'm like, yes. So yeah, thankfully it's like a week and a half earlier. So yeah,
that would be a crazy. Like my creativity kicks in, combining, smashing together ideas. So talk to our friend Billy. He spent a lot of time in the entertainment industry and seen some things, has interesting things, but he always says a movement needs a soundtrack to the movement, and the living free and the freedom movement and all that. I was like, man, what if there was an album with, I mean, you could even just do a brand album where it's not jingles, but it's companies that have a purpose that are bigger than selling a product, bigger than whatever, like Natural Art Form. It's about returning to a more natural way of life, detoxing, getting rid of the synthetic stuff, looking for just being more grounded and intentional in what we do. Yeah,
exactly.
But those ideas make amazing songs, and there is a movement. Like, it is a movement beyond each individual.
And that's it. Like, I was thinking about this with like Peter. Like, I've seen her journey, and we're so proud. Like, she's literally going to go global. Like,
good on her. Yeah. And for our listeners, if anyone doesn't know Tsunami, she does bone broths, and there's like, I don't know how many different flavors. Like, you can literally get it in every flavor, and yeah, they're great. And yeah, she just started it herself, didn't she?
Yeah. So she poured a lot of her life into this. I think she studied nutrition and food science. Like, I'm so freaking proud of her. But it's amazing. Like, it feels so good. And what I love, and this is another thing, is how, as small businesses or people that aren't even in music, how do we, find people, which is part of what we're doing in Living Free. It's like businesses run by, sovereign people, recognizing other businesses that are sovereign. So how do we create that network, which we are starting to do, of where we see a spot where, wow, this could allow someone to be lifted up here while helping myself. It's like, again, that multiple energies being poured, that you create something beautiful. Like, I always look at the way the music industry is, or even like other festivals that run. It was actually Ali from Ali Row that told me they applied for a festival, and their response was, sorry, we already have a redhead.
What? Wow. So they're choosing people on their looks.
We have businessmen running the arts. It's, other artists leading the arts. And that's that whole mindset of, me as an artist, I've worked really hard to get to this level, and what we need to do is break the stigma of, oh, I did it the hard way, so you need to do it the hard way so you can get to where I was. If we actually want to make impact, it's about me going, I worked so hard to get here so that this becomes your ceiling so that you can reach higher. That's how we build skyscrapers in the industry and actually make an impact. So, with the Living Free, like my heart with the music as well, like I'd love to, I'm believing for, the financial breakthrough to allow me to shift more into creating artist retreats, like programs where number one is, who are you? What is your identity? Because the industry doesn't do that. They want people that don't know who they are, because if you know who you are, you give out of the overflow. If you don't, you give out of an empty cup. And that's why we have so many burnouts, because they don't know who they are. That always being the first thing. And then, okay, like myself, we're going to listen to a bunch of genres, see what you're resonating with, and songwriting sessions. And I'd love Living Free, or whether it's a side project connected to Living Free, where we have that whole program that then leads to studio time, and we help artists get an EP done, and then it leads through to the festival where you debut that artist in such a safe, pure way. There's so that we need a shift. I mean, I can't do it all by myself, but I'm believing. I mean, I believed for a festival, and we all found each other with the like-minded. So, I've got so much faith in how far we've come that it will pave the way. And like people like Tessa actually reached out to me for the first year through Ebony, who I booked for the first year as well. And she's really grabbed about the battles as well. Like it was like, yes, I want to be a part of this. And same like chatting to Kyle Leinhardt and some of the other artists, Taylor Sheridan, who was amazing. I've known him for many, many years, along with like Reese Masson, they're good mates of mine. And, all those years ago, talking about that way the industry was, like Reese had just almost finished his contract with X Factor, and they just screwed him over. They really robbed him of the sound he wanted, who he wanted to be. And after that is when he started working hard to be the artist he wanted to be. So it's like artists shouldn't have to go through losing themselves and then having to pick themselves up and trying to mend the broken pieces. Like, how do we help build a generation of artists that are so strong and secure in themselves? Because music is the spearhead. That's how I view music in the spirit realm. If you study the Bible, it was Lucifer who fell, Satan, but he was the angel of music. So he knows the power of music. And look at the industry. Music is everywhere. Film is everywhere, which has music. There's so much power in it. And we just go, oh, yeah. How do we actually instill in other artists the actual power of it? That's why I'm very cautious of things I'll say or sing along to. Like, even there's some songs I might think it's catchy, but I don't understand it yet. They might make a reference, and I'm like, I'm not going to sing that over myself. I try and be really conscious of the things I sing along to.
There's a long time where I didn't even listen to music with lyrics. I don't know when that started, but Alexa kind of makes fun of me because I'll listen to classical music. I'll listen to Baroque, listen to Mozart, Rachmaninoff. I did
He says it makes him more productive. It makes me feel like I'm going insane. Like some classical music, I'm not against classical music, but the stuff he listens to is like really intense. And I'm just like, I can't work to this. I'm getting anxiety.
Part of it's just not having the distraction of lyrics and like thinking. So I can work with music, but not with lyrics, because then I'm
the
thinking
same
about what they're saying.
Yeah, I can't. I'm the same.
But the other thing is, I don't know the messages, and I don't trust their messages unless it's a group that I'm familiar with and I understand the spirit behind it. Like you can have, like I grew up listening to, I don't know if because you were in the church too. You remember Tooth and Nail Records or Solid State Records? There were these Christian music labels, and they had punk rock, they had metal, like hardcore metal bands that were Christian that had lyrics that were really inspiring, but they're screaming. And it's freaking insane. But and really talented musicians.
We used to go to this festival. They don't actually run it anymore, which is a shame. It was called Easter Fest. It was like a festival of no alcohol type thing, all Christian artists. And there was like a heavy metal tent. I didn't even know what a death pit was until I was standing there watching my mates. I was like, oh man.
And that's how we sold it to our parents. We were like, my parents didn't want us doing mosh pits and going to punk shows, but we're like, but Mom, we're doing it for Jesus. We're shining the light in the darkness, and we really were. It was like our whole thing. Like we're really intentional with that and writing the lyrics.
Love our we love our old school rock. We love I went to Sepultura in Brazil, which is like full on heavy metal. It's not something I've listened to on my daily, but because I've been educated what the lyrics are. I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. And I would just stood and I love watching drummers. I'm like, oh my gosh,
and amazing drummers are
it's so cool. But you can feel the frequency. Like there's some heavy metal stuff that'll come on. I'm like, nah, not having a bar of it. I guess it's like the more we lean into knowing ourselves, identity, and I guess awakening that spiritual side of us and trusting that small voice as well, the easier it gets. With everything.
Identity is huge. I was thinking about that with a bit with how I feel like I was very resilient being like losing my military career. I went through this whole thing where I went through special forces training, had a relationship that was very chaotic. She ended up getting arrested a few times, and then that in the special forces, they're like, you and your spouse are like both in the special forces, and if this is happening and it's not stopping, you're basically, liability to the whole thing. So I was like, all right, understood, I'm out. And but it hurt, but it didn't completely like put me into depression, all this stuff. There's so many veterans out there that have this struggle with depression and drug use and all that. And I was listening to one guy he was a Delta Force operator, like pinnacle elite of the elite. And this ties into like anything where you have this very long path to get there and only a select few get to the top, whether it's, music artists or, even CEOs of companies or whatever. In the military, the guy was saying the reason why so many people get depressed, especially in these special operations elite things when they leave, is they didn't lose their identity. They never had one to begin with. And so the military or whatever it was gave them this very potent, very like powerful identity, but it wasn't yours. So it can be taken away from you. And I feel like I was very resilient to that because my identity always, first and foremost, came from God, from my belief in Him and my understanding of what's going on in the world. I was aware of all that, and knowing that there's this very dark, very real evil battle that's going on, evil versus good, and it's not just a movie thing. It's like it's literally happening.
Yeah, and that's why I think the conversations around music are so important, because it is so insidious. Because, like you were just saying, like, I mean, I'm the same. I can't listen to songs with lyrics in the background if I'm like working, but I've spent my life, like, what do we do in the car? We just have music playing, or we're working out, or we're going, we're doing stuff and it's just on in the background. That's when it's the most insidious, because there's no conscious awareness of it a lot of the time. Even when you're singing along, a lot of the time you're singing along and you're just on autopilot, and that's all of that's going straight into your subconscious. Like, it's actually crazy because about less than, like, within the last year, I just like randomly put on, because I have like my iTunes library, which is like from my old, like from like 15, 20 years ago when I was in high school, and I've got like 10,000 songs on there. And so I've got all that, and it's like saved, like it's saved music. It's not streamed. And so I have that, but then now I'm on Spotify and stuff and I stream. And so whenever I want to listen to like my old music, I go back to that. So I put that on, and I put on like the Pussycat Dolls, right? Which I used to listen to in high school. Haven't listened to it in, like 20 years. And I put just randomly this song came on. I was like, oh my God, I used to love this album. And I put it back on. I started like as the songs were going through, I was just like, every song is so sexual. Like, I was listening to this in high school, right? And it was just like this moment I had where I was like, holy shit, like this really, I can see how it played out years later, because I wasn't having sex in high school, but I could see how it did it. Like, it shaped my identity, and like the stuff that I would listen to, like even then when I was, and quote unquote adult, because I don't think your late teens and early 20s are adulthood. But anyway, the music I used to listen to then, like it was like I was obsessed with like Rihanna and like that kind of like that badass girl. And, I started getting tattoos and stuff, and it was like this whole identity. And now I can't stand that music because it's so not just like it's soulless, like it's so shallow, and it's like, it's catchy. It sounds good in the background, sounds good on radio, but like there's no depth to it whatsoever. And that's what the mainstream, that's what people are listening to all the time. And it's just gotten so much worse.
Yeah. There's no legacy music being pumped out in the mainstream anyway. And that's my thing. I always say, I'm like, I want to write legacy music that, even when I've left this world, I've left a legacy that will impact people. Because it transcends. And it is like coming back to this beerhead, like the hard conversations, like you were saying before, like when your mum was trying to talk about the child exploitation, whatnot, bringing it up, bam, in a conversation with people will close off. But you put it in a song and they listen to it, and then one day they realize, wow, that's what this song's about. That's that's piercing the heart and opening up for future conversation or, a revelation or and anything like that. So the way we use music's definitely important. Same with film, like like with what Erin's doing with her film, like we've had talks about, how can we, create films and then create the connection from the artists that we bring in, allowing them to write music so it's intentional as well. Like imagine that if we had so much music and film out there that was intentional and conscious, aware of carrying the shift it would make.
And it's starting to happen. Like you can see, like I can feel it. Like, just every time, we've just had the festival, and like every time we're there and we're all together, it's like, there's just this feeling that like after like you get, and it's funny because after the festival, I remember thinking like, especially like, Tessa Wild, we met at the first festival and we've become really good friends with them now. And I was just like, I was thinking after, because they're really young too. They're like 10 years younger than us. And so they're like, I just all see them as like babies. And, she's so amazing. Like the last song she played in her set at the festival, I was like bawling my eyes out. It was so beautiful. And I was thinking like, God, imagine in another 10 years from now, like where they'll be, and like you and where you'll be and your mum. And like, it just feels like we're in the infancy of this. Like this thing that's growing, that's building, and this network of people. And like it just excites me so much for the future. And I just feel like you're saying, like, imagine like all these things. And it's like, it's going to happen. Like we just need time for like to get there, but it's happening. Like it's started. It is happening.
And we said it on the call the other day when we're talking about planning the next festival. It's like, okay, we've addressed the problem now. We've spoken about the problem. People are aware of the problem. People have social media. There's so much information out there. People know. Whether it's activated in them is another question. But now it's about, cool, how do we apply the knowledge in a way that we shift the future? So I feel like we're shifting into that, okay, now let's put things in place that things can grow from. Like, we pushed through the second year of the festival, and it felt like we broke through something. That was like, I feel like the journey to the second one was like a test. Like, are you going to stick to it? And we did. And it was like, we're committed. And it's like, we've passed that test, and it's like, I just feel like, exactly. We're on that like lip where it's just going to start to really grow. So our foundations have been growing deep for a long time. I mean, even before we were even planning this, for the people, everyone involved, like I'm sure, like I've been talking about, just consciously thinking of something like that becoming a thing, and it did. So how many other people are out there thinking or wanting to be a part of a movement that's bringing change? Like we see it with everyone coming through the festival, like, wow, I want to be a part of this. Like, how can I be a part of this? Even my band, Very Awake as well. But it was like, I feel like I've gone away completely changed because of this. So, and that is because of, us stewarding that energy as well, and staying humble. Like, I feel like the humility as well. It wasn't a like, look at me thing. It's when it's coming from that pure place and the motive is right. Because we aren't made to be glorified. We're made to reflect that glory.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
Yeah. And I love the energy that Dave comes at it with wanting to build out of like, what are we growing into? Not basing our life off of what we're fighting against, but actually just completely just going blank canvas. Where do we want to go? Like, what inspires us? What energizes? And that's a big thing for me too, is this movement, whether it's living free in the realm of like the app and everyone on there, or the bigger all around the world, people wanting to live and be more free. The music energizes, it's like politics, but forget politics. Politics reflects real life, but music energizes the base. It gives these people a bit more of like a collective identity, which is good. Like, you need to have both your individual and your collective identity. And especially when you're reflecting it coming from the creator, not from some artificial source. That's where I think, like you said, this is like a legacy thing, that what we're building now, I definitely can see generations in the future looking back at this and being like, that was great. Look what we built on top of this. And yeah, I want them to crush harder than we are. I want them to succeed and push this even further. But I'm definitely down to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Because the beginning is the hardest. We've been a part of that. And, sowing the seeds, getting out of our heads, like, I know I'm like this, so you guys probably are as well. When you meet new people, you say a few little like hinty things to see how people respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, you're on my level, or sometimes same doing like shops. I do something, and we run our photo booth business as well. We're always having conversations, and you look at people and you're like, oh my god, you seem lost, but you're open. Being those people who I feel like the world has lived for themselves for so long that it's like it's me against the world, and I've got to have my defenses up because everyone's offended so easy, so it shifted the way we actually interact with people, like I try and do, the random acts of kindness where you see something and it might be a little spiritual thing where you just have this feeling like, I need to let this person know, oh, wow, you're beautiful, or maybe something a bit deep, or I just feel like you need to know it's going to be all right, or, being bold with those things. Because I've had people, even though I feel like I'm quite strong in myself, I still have my bad days. We've gone, you go through bad stuff and your cup's not as full as it should be. And, I was having a tough week the other week, and I walked in to get a Cuban sandwich, and she was young as, and she just looked at me, she's like, I just want to tell you, when you walk in a room, there's a real presence about you. I was like, she would have been 14, and I was like, it took me back, and then I like waited, got my food, and I was like, thank you for being one of those people that speak from the heart, because the world needs this. Little things like that, like tiny acts of kindness or planting tiny seeds, and then knowing someone else along the journey might plant in that seed. And, it's not about you much, which is coming back to the church or the way the religiosity is trying to smack a devil out of them. No, you've got to kill them with kindness, love, like that. That's, what it's all about, is being an example of God is love. That's as simple as it can be, being an example of love, because it's the strongest frequency there is, I feel like we are coming into some good years. As much as there's still craziness happening, people are waking up and those seeds are being watered. So, yeah.
And everything, like we always talk about that on this show, like everything has a ripple effect, like for good and like positive and negative. And I think we're really seeing now that ripple effect. Because again, if you look at like what happened during like COVID in 2020, like that was this massive catalyst for people to wake up. But obviously the years that followed that, there was so much division. There was so much, like people just were so lost, and people on both sides. Like that's not saying like the people that got jabbed and stuff. I know people that were quote unquote awake, and some of them still are. They're just stuck in the anger and like fighting everything, and like, but the ones that have decided, like us, like people in the Living Free community, like people that have decided to like take responsibility, like actually create something new that's going to make the world better. We can see like we've all found each other, and like the ripples just kind of get bigger and bigger, and they reach further and further. And I think what we're seeing now is like what I feel intuitively is that there's less division. Like I feel, like for me personally, like I know even up until a couple of years ago, like I'd walk around and you'd see someone with a mask and you'd be like, oh, idiot. Yeah. And now, honestly, like I see people wearing the mask and I kind of feel sorry for them, because I just think like how, like what mind cage are you in where you actually believe that this is like doing good in some way? And it just, it's like taking away that judgment and just having compassion, because honestly, like I know some people that like are not quote unquote awake, but they're just lovely people and they have really good hearts. And, I think that's like, for me, like long term, I'm like, that's the goal. It's like, we just need to live more harmoniously, because I think there's a lot of people out there that, I mean, we know lots of people that did get jabbed and regretted it. They didn't really want to in the first place, but they were very coerced and like stuck between a rock and a hard place with jobs and things like that. And so there's a lot of people out there that unfortunately that's their journey. That's their catalyst for them to wake up. And there's so many levels to quote unquote waking up. So, you know, everyone's on their own journey with that.
Yeah. And it's coming out of anger into grace and starting to become aware of your influence as well. Like, you know, we're not going to hate someone into changing their mind. It's never going to work that way. But if you love continuously, you know, I have friends who aren't awake, and I'm like, I always make jokes about, you know me and my conspiracy theories. You know, I make jokes out of it, and then I'll, but at the end of the day, you bring it back to love, or you know, people tend to find that common ground. And then there's been friends who years later have the click moment, and you're like, yeah, and you love them where they're at because they'll eventually get there, and you're like, and I use humor a lot to be like, whenever you're ready, you know, I'm down for a chat, you know, like something right on deep, you know. So using humor, using love, and we don't always get it right, but at least, you know, consciously trying and, you know, getting 1% better every day, or that whole saying.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Jess. You're just, I mean, you know, in an hour and a half for people that don't know you, it's like a drop in the ocean. Like you and your mum are so amazing. You are such a testament to who your mum is. And I know that you guys have a really close relationship, and I love that because it reminds me a lot of mine and my mum's relationship, you and your mum. Yeah. And you're just such a hard worker. Like, if people knew, like, I'm sure I don't even know how many things you do, but I know how much you've got going on. And so the fact that you still stay so committed to, the fact that you stay so committed to your music still and putting that out there, and, like, you know, knowing the importance of it and using that as your creative and spiritual expression. It's so beautiful. And we're so grateful to have you on. Where can people find you and listen to your music?
So my pitch, follow us on the socials, just Jasmine. I don't post much. You might see a video of my dog. I am going to try and be a bit better, especially once I've got my album done, and tomorrow. So
we should do a launch party for that somewhere. What's the plan?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I want to plan a proper event, do a ticketed event. We can promote you guys, promote Living Free, even a cut of the tickets. I want to start planning small events where we can invite people to that links to Living Free, and is like a bit of a, by the way, this kind of conscious music is connected to this amazing platform and event. I'm trying to think of ways that it can all feed to each other as well. It would definitely be, and my merch, I'm gonna do some merchandise. I don't want to be that person with, like, it's like, here's my face on a t-shirt. I've seen enough of that. I'm like, I want to do select, because again, it's about the powerful words. I'm really big on the lyrics, so select like different parts of songs, like
that's lyrics. A great idea. Yeah, like almost like slogan tees, but they're your lyrics.
Yeah, like a Bible, like it looked like a Bible verse, and then Jessica Jasmine, and then if people read it and agree with it, it's like, oh, who's this chick?
That's cool. That's a good idea.
I've got a lot to do in a month.
You should get one for the Jessica Jasmine like product or album launch party. In the back of it says, "Follow my socials. I don't post much. You might see a picture of my dog," and then it has like a list of your socials on it. And then that,
That's literally it. I've got to run it back, put it back alive. I did have a website up and running, but I didn't realize it stopped running. So that's on my to-do list as well. But it's like, how many priorities on my priority list is the highest priority?
That's the world I live in as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. I can't wait for more of your music. Your song's very powerful, and go check her out. Follow her wherever she's at, and
and you're on.
Stay tuned.
I mentioned you're on like Spotify. Are you on most of like the streaming platforms that most people are familiar with?
The songs on all the platforms. The music video, obviously, on YouTube. If you want to go and rewatch that and just take it in, keep your tissues.
Definitely.
And share. again, it's not about, oh, this singer wants to be seen. It's the message behind the music. Of course, I would love and be so honored to be able to do the music full time, but ultimately it's the whole big picture that comes with it. So that was one lesson I had to learn is I can do everything by myself. I actually can't. I need people who believe in me as well, as much as you guys need people to believe in you. That's how we help each other grow. And have community. So
yeah. Well, we believe in you, Jess, and we love you. And yeah, we definitely recommend people go and listen to your music and stay tuned for the album. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Do you want how long we got? I was gonna say, do you want to hear a sneak peek of a song?
Oh yeah.
Yes, let's get behind the scenes sneak peek. Yeah, that was pretty epic, by the way, the sneak peek or not the sneak peek, sorry, the behind the scenes stuff about shooting the music video and those powerful details that are in there. That's so incredible. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna find.
Well, it comes through, but because that's what I was thinking, just watching it again, like it doesn't look like, you know, when you see music videos, especially often by independent artists, because they're not getting like, you know, big, like great actors and stuff in, and it just looks like, it looks real fake. Like you can tell they're acting. Like this looks so, it looks like everyone's like literally like when she's crying, it's so real. It just looks so real.
Yeah. She's high end. She's high end, Paris. I was so blessed by the team. Like I was literally like, even when the first scene we filmed was when she was running through the woods. And I was like looking over one of the cameraman's shoulders at the shot, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because like you see it in your head, and it was better than what it was in my head. Like you pray like that, but that moment I was in the woods in 4 degrees, like just crying, freezing on my face now. Like another humbling moment of like, wow, like something that I carried in my heart is manifesting in the real right now. So I'm going to show you. I debuted this song at the festival this year. It's just the scratch vocals of this one. I literally was like, we did the instrumentation in like 2 hours, and I did like, he was like, I've got half an hour, I've got to lead. I was like, I'm just going to sing the song the whole way through and then get out. So I am going to redo these vocals. But this one's a great one for, I guess, my statement of why I sing as well. For the people, it's called The Illusion. All right, this song should work now. It's a bit more rocky vibe for this. I got my headbang on in the studio. All right, ready? My genre is, I've finally decided it's like alternative rock soul with a tiny slither of pop here and there. All right, here we go.
I see through the illusion, the art of confusion. They'll be breaking you down, not building you up. Got you thinking you ain't good enough. So please do not get used to the way that they abuse you. No, they are not alone. That's why I'm writing this song. It's up to you how your story unfolds. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. Think that life should be like what you see on your feet. False God, the destiny, just be how they be. Seen it too many times. We sold out so they could fly, but they still be asking why I have it all by myself to you, rise. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. I'm singing for you. We'll be told like, if you look like me, then you'll be happy. If you have money, then you will be free. Well, that's not for me. In my heart, I'm free.
Yeah, that song's made for a crowd. Yeah, it's like, woo! We're just waiting for it. That's great. I love you. Just like scratch vocals, and it still sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah, real behind the scenes.
No,
I'm
it's
excited.
great.
Yeah.
So we're getting there.
Yeah. It's cool to see how these things come to fruition. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. And
it's been such a pleasure.
I think it's going to be inspiring to people because I think there's a lot of people that have talent. And one thing I'll say, kind of closing this out, is like the people that have a lot of the talent, they don't always make it big in the music industry because really in this day and age, you don't need the industry. You can go create, you can go and make your own albums, promote it. You can actually use social media, whatever, get bigger. But the talent, the people that are actually really talented have an extra level of freedom versus the people that really want to be famous, but they need that, you know, the satanic empire to like promote them. So I think that's just going to win out long-term at the end of the day is the right intention and the talent to back it up.
Yeah, more people are on the right page. Same, like, it took me so long to find the right producer that would understand all the ideas in my head. Like, I hear this sound, it sounds like this, but I don't know what instrument it is. So yeah, no, I'm so stoked. I'm working with Maddie Mate. He goes by Maddie Mate. Met him through uni as well. And I knew he was going to be the right producer when I came in. He's like, okay, this song, give me 3 words of the feeling you want to create. And I was like, you're my man. So,
very cool. Yeah.
I'm like a go-to guy, which is great. But yeah, super excited. I'll definitely loop you guys in when I'm going to start planning the album launch. So yeah, maybe we jump back on and do a little woohoo.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, can't wait. Thanks so much, Jess.
So fun. Love you guys.
Love you
Bless
too. Thanks for tuning in to the Natural AF podcast, where we explore holistic healing modalities, mindsets, and methods that reconnect us to nature and our natural state of being.
If something resonated, share this episode and see the show notes for our guest links, as well as all of our discount codes for our aligned affiliates and natural art form, where we handcraft a range of organic, natural remedies that help support your body's natural healing abilities and help support the show.
If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please take a few seconds to leave us a rating and review. And if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, hit the like button and drop us a comment, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates.
We're not here to conform. We're here to remember what's real. So step into your power, be curious, and be natural AF.